How's everybody? Oh, okay, here we go. Did you vote? I hope you voted. See, I voted. Yeah. It wasn't easy, but I voted. Thank you. Yep. Okay, where are we going here? What street is that? Oh, I can't go that way, that's right. Construction. Okay. I scared myself again. It's twice I scared myself. Drove over that plastic bottle twice and it scared me.
CIA officer, not a career politician. She ran and won for the first time in 2018, and now is going to be reelected tonight. And I think we need to look to next generation candidates, people who have backgrounds, in law enforcement, in national.
And Liz, I'm just going to jump in here to let our audience know that the AP has now officially called that race for Abigail Spanberger in Virginia, as you just pointed out.
Amazing, right? But I think it speaks to the future of the Democratic Party, which is more women, more next generation, more people with unconventional backgrounds, not career politicians.
Okay.
And people who can really speak to the needs and values.
All right, and Liz, we're unfortunately going to have to leave it there. Liz Smith, Democratic Communications Strategist, thank you as always.
Yes, thank you.
And we're going to go to Colorado now, where Colorado Public Radio's Benta Birkeland is with the Colorado GOP at their watch party. And I'm also going to ask Domenico Montanaro, who's one of our political analysts, to help us talk about this. Benta, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, happy to be here.
So the AP called the race for U.S. Senate for Democrat Michael Bennet. You are at the Republican watch party. What was the reaction in the room to that news?
Well, it's been pretty muted as the nights progressed. We haven't heard anything for Republican businessman Joe O'Dea, the Republican candidate. He's expected to speak fairly soon. And, what was interesting and it kind of garnered a lot of national attention is that Joe O'Dea broke with Donald Trump. He defended the 2020 presidential election. And he tried to take a relatively moderate position on issues like abortion rights and same-sex marriage. And so he was running as a more moderate candidate. Colorado has trended blue in recent cycles. Democrats control our state government. So there was a question of what kind of inroads a candidate like O'Dea could make in this election cycle.
So I'm just briefly going to ask Domenico Montanaro to jump in here. He's our senior political editor and correspondent, and so we're glad he's here. You just heard Benta say that the GOP in Colorado has kind of took an unusual tack, at least unusual for this year, and being more centrist on big issues like abortion. Did that pan out for them?
Yeah, you just don't know how far the race could have been, right? As far as what the margin might have been there. But I mean, obviously it didn't work out for what they wanted to do. They thought that having a candidate who was fairly wealthy, could self-fund somewhat, had a more moderate position. They think that that's the kind of candidate. I think that they're tipping their hand a little bit at the kind of candidate they think is actually better in a purple state rather than some of these candidates that might have some candidate quality issues in some of these swing districts and in swing states. Of course, former President Trump is going to take all the credit if Republicans even take back the House, but there's going to be a lot of discussion about just how good these candidates were and can Trump's brand win in purple states?
And in fact, the former president actually said this as much in an interview. He said that if these candidates win, he gets the credit. He says if they lose, he gets none of the blame, which is kind of an interesting, approach. So, Benta, the Colorado has a new congressional district at play for the first time. Is there any indication where that district is leaning so far and how the race is playing out there?
I mean, right now the Democrat is leading in that race. She's both of the candidates are state lawmakers, current state lawmakers. Her name's Yadira Caraballo. She is the only pediatrician in the state legislature. She's running against Barbara Kirkmeyer. And both candidates have focused a lot on cost of living issues. And this new district was drawn by Colorado's Independent Redistricting Commission. And the commission made sure to make this district a toss-up and very competitive. So we knew that going into today that any candidate could win. It received a lot of national attention because people saw it in some ways as a barometer for the national mood of the country. It's a district that's about 40% Latino. It includes suburbs north of Denver. It has a little bit of everything: oil and gas, energy development, a big agriculture district.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for that. That's Colorado Public Radio's Benta Berkman. Benta, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to remind everybody that we have more results and analysis here tonight. We'll have the latest tomorrow morning edition. We hope you'll stay with us. This is live special coverage of the 2022 midterms from NPR News.
Here on WKSU. Thanks for sticking around tonight. I'm Jeff St. Clair. I'm joined by Amanda Rabinowitz and Baldwin Wallace, political science professor Tom Sutton. Thank you both for being here. It is 5 minutes before 11 o'clock, and Amanda, we have some things we can say for certain, some things we're still looking at.
We do. I mean, it's been an interesting evening. Things have gone quickly in some aspects and a little slower in others. Governor Mike DeWine was declared the winner of the election over Nan Whaley within minutes.
Early on.
Polls closing, it seems. So Governor Mike DeWine has been reelected. State issues 1 and 2, those both passed easily. Issue 1 will allow judges to consider public safety when setting cash bail. And issue 2, making sure that non-citizens cannot participate in elections.
The
Again,
customer
both of those
requested you
appear to
leave
be
the order
passing
at their
easily.
door.
Now,
They added the
congressional
following
races, 9
instructions.
in Ohio
Leave at my
have gone
door.
to Republicans, including former Trump staffer Max Miller in the 7th congressional district. And it looks like 5 Democrats could win congressional seats in Ohio. We have Joyce Beatty and Chantel Brown. Those have been filled. Tapper is up with a big lead. Amelia Sykes, the race that we've been watching this evening, up by 5.1 points. 86% of the votes counted. Her opponent, I forget her name. It's not coming to me very quickly.
Madison Jesse Otto Gilbert?
That's right.
We will
So-
take a closer look at that race in just a moment.
Okay, and then there's a surprise in the 1st district, Tom.
And in the 1st district, Steve Chabot, who's running for his 7th term, is actually down about 2.7 points to Greg Landsman, first-time candidate since for Congress. He's a councilman for city of Cincinnati. This is a race that we thought was going to be competitive. It's only a +1 R from the redistricting. But the big thing is that if we see 5 Democrats win out of 15 seats, that really gives the lie to the idea that this entire map was completely gerrymandered, and it's more than likely we'll see the court and the redistricting commission basically set this as the map in place until 2030.
We might be stuck with this. Let's turn now.
But it looks like maybe 4 women, Congresswomen.
And that's
on the Democratic side.
a question now for Karen Beckwith from Facebook
Okay.
University, who's looking at that race between 2 young women in Ohio's 13th district.
So as you say, this is a newly drawn district, and it makes it uncertain for both candidates. One of the things that's also very interesting to me about this race is that this is an open seat, that it's the only seat in the Ohio House races where 2 women are pitted against each other. And this is a fairly common strategy. I think about 9% of all U.S. House seats right now are women versus women races. And this takes gender off the table. So now we don't have a woman running against a man. We have two women running against each other. And that makes any consideration of voting for a woman now moot, so to speak.
Madison,
What we can see, the major differences between these two candidates are that Amelia Sykes is an experienced candidate. This is not her first election, and it's not the first seat that she's run for. It's her first run for Congress. She comes from a political family, and the experience of her campaign is evident. It shows through that she has some political experience. Madison Jessie Oda Gilbert, however, is an inexperienced candidate. This is her first run for office. She did a little venue shopping by looking around to see which district she might do best in, and decided on the 13th. She has no prior political experience, and her political advertising also shows this. She's not consistent with her positions. She has mischaracterized her opponent, and she's done it in ways that are they're negative advertisements, but these are not generally seen as being necessarily successful for women. There's no research on advertising in women versus women races, but in many ways I think Jessie Oda Gilbert has made a mistake in estimating what the district actually looks like and what people are interested in seeing. And certainly this is going to be a district where at least a woman's going to be elected, and it's likely that 4 women will serve in the Ohio House delegation to the U.S. House of Representatives, and this will be a nice change.
That's Karen Beckwith from Case Western Reserve University here on WKSU Live election coverage. Support comes from
the Mastery School of Hawken, a high school option in University Circle for grades 9 through 12.
Yeah, interesting take there. That's an interesting race, that one. All right, what am I looking at here? What time is it? Let's see here. BD-deet. Hello. Oh, I can't go that way, can I? Can I? That's a one-way. Where are we at here? This is 70. Let's see. Can we sneak over here? Close your eyes. What is this? Oh, that's... yeah, problematic. Alright. This damn construction.
Texas. I'm watching what happened statewide in Texas. Democrats have not won a statewide election for almost 30 years, in 28 years.
And if I may ask, why do you think that is?
Well, I think that, even when it was a Democratic state, basically a conservative base here. You had a lot of conservative Democrats who, beginning in the Civil Rights Movement, flipped over, and then eventually that caught up to Democrats in the 1990s. Since then, Republicans have invested a lot more in the state. They've recruited candidates better. This year, we had a very strong slate of candidates, and it looks like the slate may come up short. It is still early, but at least that's what it looks like. I think at least one network has called it. Maybe more have now called it for Governor Greg Abbott.
We should just point out that the Associated Press, whose calls we use, is among those that have called that race for Governor Abbott.
Yeah, I think what we need to look at is the margin. What was the margin? 8 years ago, he won by 20, 21 points. 4 years ago, he won by 13 points. And so even though it doesn't feel like it in Texas for Democrats, it is a 5-point victory for Abbott, a 7-point victory. That's still significant progress compared to where Democrats were in 2018 in the governor's race. Mind you, in the presidential cycle, Obama loses to Romney in Texas in 2012 by 16 points. In 2020, Biden loses by 5.5. So there has been very definitely a shift toward Democrats in Texas, but it hasn't come to the finish line yet.
And I'd just like to ask you, obviously, we are here on election night. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to go to my colleague, Michelle Martin, for a race call.
Yes, this is a consequential one. This is Republican Jen Kiggins winning election to the U.S. House in Virginia's 2nd congressional district, beating the incumbent representative Elaine Luria, the Democrat. That's a pickup, and we know that Republicans only need 5 to win control of the House. Juana, back to you.
Julian Castro, I want to bring you in here on this. You are in Texas, but I know you are watching the entire map here. Any reaction to this call? This is a big one that I know many Democrats have been watching to get a sense of how the night would be going for them.
Yes, it is. I mean, this is considered one of the bellwether races in this cycle. Now, Abigail Sandberger did win her election, and so that was another one that was being watched carefully. I mean, so far, the bottom is not falling out the way we've seen, both for the Republican and Democratic Party. The bottom fall out.